Hey, thanks for taking 5 with me, Wolf Gorlick. A few minutes riffing on IT and IT security. Today looking at best practices. But first there's an architect named Robert A.M. Stern. And Robert A.M. Stern coined a phrase. He says that architects don't copy, they quote. And I love that, right? You know, they always say like, oh, good artists borrow, but great artists steal. But architects, they don't do either. They quote. And the concept there is borrowing elements from each other's work, integrating into their own whole so that you have a cohesive building, you have a cohesive design that may in fact be inspired by or blatantly quote, others. And I think the tip for you is this. In cybersecurity, it's important to know how to copy well. Chase Jarvis has this thing called DEAR, right? And DEAR stands for deconstruct, emulate, analyze, repeat. And I think it's the lack of applying DEAR that oftentimes gets us into trouble. You hear the phrase like, oh, compliance does not equal security. Well, why shouldn't it? I mean, there's some good controls in those standards. Well, why doesn't it protect your organization? Perhaps it's a failure to deconstruct. Perhaps it's a failure to emulate. Perhaps we're looking at something and we're going, oh, we can't take that because that's someone else's. Or perhaps we're borrowing whole cloth, not realizing the principles behind it. To use a recent example, we're shopping, so you got the COVID masks on, you got the COVID gloves on, right? So you don't get, in fact, you don't spread anything. And the principle there is that if it's on the glove, it's not on your hand. So you very carefully take off the glove when you're done, thereby ensuring that nothing that you touched gets transferred to you, right? Risk reduction via something you emulate, right? Via something that we copy. Saw a person in the store who was in gloves and a mask eating around their mask. Did they check the box of having a mask? Yes. Did they check a box of having gloves? Yes. Did they check a box of staying 6 feet away from people? Yes. But were they emulating the right things? And I think when you hear someone say, oh, compliance doesn't equal security, what they're actually saying is that emulating a set of compliance standards will not get you to a secure place. However, deconstructing what a standard says, emulating what makes sense, adapting it into your security program, much like Robert A.M. Stern would adapt what he was quoting into a cohesive building, adapting it into the building, right? Then seeing if it works, that's always important. Having some feedback loop, hey, is this program working? And then going ahead and repeating for the next thing. That's, again, Chase Jarvis's DEAR approach. I think that's what we need to do. Give you a good example from the technology side. Zero Trust comes out, and people are like, we need to kill the VPN. Okay. Do we? The principle there was provide users reliable access, secure access. Now, can you do Zero Trust without killing the VPN? Absolutely. Is there a move to implement Zero Trust without a VPN? Yes. However, let's suppose that you are an organization that has a significant mature perimeter control. And that mature perimeter control includes VPN. And that VPN, right, your secure capability for allowing people to work from home, has some of the adaptive authentication capabilities that you'd want from Zero Trust. It can check if the device is healthy. It can check if the device is infected. It can check to see if it's a known device, right? It can check to see if the device is authenticating from a context that we should. And you can apply a lot of these Zero Trust principles right through that VPN client. Do you want to emulate killing the VPN at that point in time? Why would you walk away from this great investment? Now, you may want to phase it out. You may want to make other decisions. But the point remains that so oftentimes if we say, here's an idea, here's a rule, here's a compliance checkbox, here's a way to wear masks, here's a way to get rid of a perimeter. By simply following it and not doing the emulation, the adaptation, and the analysis, we will always fall short. Do you got a good example of this? Hit me up in comments or social media. Cheers.